late at night. I feel very calm. Let's see how I play calm. This Korean. The Koreans tend to be accurate players. Let's hope they're not a coaches. Accepted. Do that to me, stupid machine.
Queen's Castle in.
My recorder stopped there, so I'm just going to go back to the middle game and show you what happened in that game now. Grabbed this, and I didn't see that he had access to this pawn here.
Queenside Castle.
And I castled, and he stole the pawn. So I ran to protect, and then tried to drive his queen away. And this is for the exchange. I decided instead to just take a pawn.
Check.
And then I ended up with these doubled. And he's trying to go for a single pawn advantage, so that he can queen it and win the game. So I moved over to the open file here, kind of offered him the rook.
Check.
He took it. I recaptured. And then he clearly signalled that he simply wants to go for a pawn ending, end up with the extra pawn, therefore the queen, and win the game. Take this rook. And the reason I didn't take this rook is because I knew he would. So I just moved this pawn forward. Perhaps actually slightly better move might have been to move this one forward, but it doesn't matter. Didn't make any difference in the end.
Check.
The point is he took that. And that, as you see there, now I recapture with my king.
Check.
Had I taken, he'd have recaptured, and you see he started to move to the centre before me.
Check.
So I let him capture.
Check.
And that gets me moving to the centre. Look how I'm closer to the centre. And I've managed to get up to here. Well, not technically closer to the centre, but I'm further along my journey, let's put it that way. I can't be close to the centre because I couldn't get past my own pawn there like he could get past that same third rank. But the point is, I got there in time. And now what happens is a series of attempting to put each other in Zugzwang. A lot of accurate counting happens. And then I moved my king here. And he moved his pawn there. I wanted him to think I was in Zugzwang, which I'm really not. I can come back here, and he still can't come towards me with his king. In fact, he cannot get through with his king at all. He has got to do something else. So he does this. Now, what do you think would be the right thing to do here? It's kind of forcing you to move backwards, and obviously you don't want to be doing something like that. after you do this, he's going to start doing this. All right, so what do we do?
Check.
Well, I check him, and he goes here. Now, it does kind of look like I'm in Zugzwang, but I'm not, you see, because my pawns are covering those dark squares, and my king can cover this light square even after moving. Look, I know it looks like he's moving away, but he's not. He's still covering that important square, forcing my opponent to do this. Now, again, what do you do next? If I take that, that gives his king a move forward by way of recapture. I do not want to give his king moves forward. So I triangulate. I'm basically staying on the same square, but I'm going to the one next to it, which is in effect the same square. If I could stay on the same square I'm on now, obviously I would. And then I would just capture when he captures. But I've got this ability to triangulate, and this is going to be a theme in this ending. So I move across instead of away, and he advances. He passes on that. Okay, fine. He's now put that pawn on the very square that I was trying to stop him being able to move on to. So again, he cannot advance the king still. So again, get ready to triangulate by coming diagonally. And his king goes here. Now if I just go back, he's going to go back, and maybe we'd have a draw. Well, that's fine, but a draw would have won me points. But I instead triangulate. You see, I've come diagonally, now I'm coming across. Now his king comes back, I come back, and suddenly his king's in Zugzwang. Has to move away, I come up. Now, again, he possibly thinks that now I've given him a passed pawn. What am I going to do about that? Well, I worked it out. I can capture his middle pawn, and I can still get to the passed pawn in time. Watch. He moves here. I capture. He advances. I advance. He advances. I capture. King advances. And back I come. Now who's got the extra pawn? Now the tables have turned. And again, triangulation is going to have to happen. His king comes here. And obviously,
check.
It's check. I've covered everything except the square directly in front of that pawn. So if unless he moves to the rank behind, which he doesn't, he's got to move to this square. If he moved to the rank behind, I would advance. He moves to this square, I just do this. And I've put him in stalemate. If he were on the back rank, he'd be in stalemate right now. Which, in other words, he can only move back. There he goes. I come to the side. And once again, he cannot come to this rank. He has to just kind of go across.
Check.
So again, check. He goes into that stalemate position. Into the stalemate position. He has to move back. I come to the side. He comes in front. I push forward. And on that occasion, he, I suppose, could have tried to come this way. But then it already becomes running the pawn home. So he goes this way. I come this way. And now here. And that was unfortunate because he's in Zugzwang. Really, you see, again, I've got the opposition there. And he comes to here. If he'd been able instead to triangulate himself, how did I do it? I worked out that he could have got a stalemate if I... Well, let's say I had not... can't remember how I did it now. Where did he go? He went to the side. Okay, so let's say he instead went back there. And then I came forward. And then he goes there. And then I do that. and then he goes there, and then I do
Check.
that, and then he goes there, and then I do that.
Stalemate.
Then that would have been stalemate. There were ways of enforcing stalemate. I did find a simpler way that he could have forced stalemate at the very end, but I can't find it now. Anyways, the whole idea was to keep forcing him back and forcing him back, but then at the last minute you've got to get alongside your pawn. Okay, so here I just get alongside it,
Promotion to queen.
and then it's queened. I suppose I could have had some fun and made it into a knight with check, but anyway, that would probably not have been a very good idea. That's the end of that game, and very great accuracy required, being on the right beat every time, so that it's the opponent in Zugzwang. He trusted himself to be able to do whittling down my pawns until he had a single pawn advantage. In my opinion, the most boring way of playing chess imaginable, and I think he richly deserved to be whooped because of that, by an even more accurate player. At least tonight I was.